Archaic Records.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Archaic Records here with you again. My name is Jamie, coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee. And today we're going to be taking a quick look at the newest record by French power popsters, The Choices. Their newest record is entitled Vice and Virtue, and it is out on Randale Records. The Choices are a band that I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit I just recently discovered when it was announced that they're going to be doing some shows next month in Europe with the Almighty Evil Conduct. This band formed in 2019 in Paris, France. They released their first record, Beautiful Days, in 2021. And as I mentioned, they just released their current album, Vice and Virtue, this year in 2023. This band features, I don't want to say long-time punk rock legend Jenny Wu, because she is still a relatively young woman, but somebody who has accomplished a lot in her career so far. Somebody of whom I would say, quite a large fan of. Now, she's done a few things over the years that I've been a little bit lukewarm on, but for the most part, I am a big fan of hers. Of course, I first discovered her through her connection and friendship to Evil Conduct, who are one of my top 10 favorite bands of all time. If you are unfamiliar with The Choices, as I was up until very recently, I would say if you are a fan of bands like Red Bricks, Evil Conduct, The Interrupters, Booze and Glory, Man's Ruin, and probably an obvious comparison would be the Distillers. If you're a fan of any of those bands, I think that this is a band that will be right up your alley. And if you were a fan of anything that Jenny Wu has done in her past, I think this is something you'd want to check out as well. If you were going to sort of categorize this band, I think they're hard to sort of just like cram into one sort of subcategory. I mentioned earlier I thought they were sort of in the power punk sort of style. I think that is sort of a fair, description, although I would say they have a little bit more of a serrated edge than your sort of typical, prototypical, pop punk. I think that they definitely have elements of pop punk. I think they have elements of power pop, and of course some just straight ahead street punk rock and roll with some oi in there. Their songs tend to be, at least in my opinion, their songs tend to be catchy and danceable, but yet at the same time they still definitely bring some meat with the potatoes. I really love the production on this record. It is clean, it's crisp, it's snappy, and of course I love the songwriting, and I love Jenny Wu's vocal performance. She is always somebody who I've really always loved her voice. I love her lyrics. I kind of love the way that she looks at the world. As far as some of the standout tracks on this album, I would say that the title track, Vice and Virtue, is probably my favorite song on the record. I think this song is about the suffocation of the working class due to our ruling overlords and the ultra elite. I like the fact in this song, in the lyrics of the song, they take a shot at big tech, which I really appreciate that, being especially somebody who is originally from the Bay Area. Big tech has basically destroyed the Bay Area, in my opinion. The next song I think that really stands out on this record is a song called These Are the Days. I think this is a song about living for today, realizing that today is the good old days. Don't live for tomorrow. I love the lyric in the song where it says something like, I'll never be as young as I am today. Realizing that today could be the last day of your life. Living for today, realizing that today is the good old days. Another really great song on this record is called I Don't Care. Pretty self-explanatory, really. Just like a really great sort of punk rock anthem. Something I think any kind of punk rock fan can get behind. I don't want to be like you, man. Basically, is the gist of that song. I love that song. Another one of the songs off this record I really love is called Forgot Your Face. I mean, who doesn't love a good breakup song? At least that's the way I interpret it. As somebody who's been through a couple of sticky breakups in my life, it's a song I appreciate the lyrics to. I love Jenny Wu's voice on this entire record. I love the lyrics. And as I said before, I think this band is just incredible sounding. They have a real, I think, distinct, clean, crisp sound. I love the production on this record. Another song I really love off this record is a song called Little Sister, which I think is instrumentally probably my favorite song on the record. Another song I really love off this one is a song called Still Dreaming. To me, this is kind of a song about optimism and hope, something to kind of like get you through the day as you're driving your way to work this morning or any other morning. That's the way I look at it. Another song to mention off this record I really love, and I love most of this record. But another song I really love off this record is a song called America, which to me, I interpret it as being, don't pledge allegiance to any flag or your country. Just pledge allegiance to yourself. Be who you are. I read somewhere that this song was anti-American. I don't believe that to be the case at all. I just think that this song is basically about not pledging allegiance, to anything but yourself. Anyway, I really love this record, Vice and Virtue. You can go through and listen to the whole thing. I have a very good feeling about this record, that it's going to end up on my top 5 records of the year special, which I will be putting out this Saturday. I know. You're just about to have a heart attack over that, aren't you? Anyway, be sure to go out and check out Vice and Virtue by The Choices featuring Jenny Wu. This is a band that I would love to see live given the opportunity. Now, I don't know if this band has any ambition to take this thing on the road, at least overseas, over here to the United States. Also, that being said, I mean, I live in Nashville, which is, people are always like, oh, Music City, but, Nashville is such a weird market for this kind of music. So many of the bands that play this style of music, they sort of avoid Nashville. They will play some of our neighboring cities down here, places like Memphis and Birmingham. In Atlanta, of course, everybody goes to Atlanta, but a lot of people sort of skip Nashville for some reason. I think it's because so much of the music that does well in Nashville, as far as touring music, tends to either be big established type artists, or just a bunch of that typical countrified bullshit. But anyway, I'd love to see these guys live. I would be willing to travel to Memphis, Birmingham, Atlanta. Doesn't matter to me, as long as they get on a plane and bring this stuff to America, because I think this record is just awesome. Like I said, I believe this one has a pretty good chance to sneak into my top 5 records of the year. And like I said, sadly, this was a band I just recently discovered. Man, I must have had my head up my butt this year in a lot of ways. I mean, I listened to a lot of new music. This one just kind of got by me. I mentioned the fact that this record is on Randale Records, which to me is one of those labels which is just really like the stamp of approval. Everything that label puts out, in my opinion, is of the highest quality. This record is no different. Vice and Virtue by The Choices. For my final grade on this record, I'm going to give this one a solid A. I think you definitely need to go out and check out this record. This is a record, I think, this is the type of record, I think, that for the continued health of punk rock, we need newer and young, exciting bands like this to keep the scene going, to keep the scene vibrant, and keep the scene healthy. And so for that, I applaud The Choices, their record Vice and Virtue. I love it. Check it out. You will certainly not be disappointed, in my humble opinion. Anyway, man, thank you so much for checking out this record review. This is Archaic Records. My name is Jamie, coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee. Be sure to go out and support your local record store. Check back every week for Morrissey Monday, a weekly celebration of all things Morrissey and the Smiths, as well as other record content throughout the week. And until next time, my friends, I'll talk to you then.